What if the first monotheist in history wasn't a prophet, but a pharaoh? For thousands of years, Egypt worshipped a pantheon of gods, until one man dared to erase them all. Akhenaten didn't just replace gods. He redefined divinity itself. No idols, no dark temples, just the sun shining on everyone equally. He built a new capital, outlawed the old gods, and declared himself the only voice of divine light. But who was he? A visionary or a religious tyrant? If you're drawn forbidden religion, forgotten revolutions, and truths buried in the sand, subscribe now, because Akhenaten's story wasn't told by priests. It was buried by them. For over 2 millennia, Egypt stood as a divine kingdom, not just ruled by gods, but shaped by them. Every city bore the weight of its patron deity. Every temple beat like a second heart in the body of the nation. The lifeblood of Egypt's power flowed through the temples of Ammon-Ra. He wasn't just a god, he was the god, a fusion of two once-separate deities, Ammonius, the hidden one, and Ra, the sun. He stood as the supreme force, creator and sustainer of all things. His name meant regeneration. His image adorned monuments from Nubia to the Delta. And at Thebes, the sprawling Karnak complex rose like a stone forest in his honor. This god had priests, and they had power. Ammonius' priesthood rivaled the authority of the pharaoh himself. They controlled land, resources, and loyalty from the people. In the shadows of Karnak's colonnades, decisions were made that shaped empires. But while the outer form of Egypt's religion remained the same, something was brewing. Other gods waxed and waned with dynasties. Political winds shifted, and one young prince, born Amenhotep IV, watched quietly from within the golden cages of Thebes. He was heir to a divine empire, but in his heart he would not serve many gods. He would serve only the sun. Amenhotep IV was born into luxury, the son of Amenhotep III, a king who ruled over Egypt's golden age. Temples expanded, wealth poured in, and the cult of Ammonius was at its peak. But behind the splendor, strange changes were underway. His father had begun to elevate a minor solar deity, the Aten, calling himself the dazzling sun disk. Statues showed the king bathed in rays of light. Was it politics? A challenge to the bloated power of Ammonius priests? Or something deeper? When Amenhotep IV ascended the throne, Egypt expected continuity. But what it got was upheaval. In the early years, he followed tradition, at least in appearance. He offered sacrifices to gods, walked through Karnak's halls, and used the name of Ammonius in his own. But then, something shifted. Subtly at first, the Aten began to eclipse all others. Artwork showed the sun disk with hands reaching down, giving life. The falcon-headed gods faded. The plural gods disappeared. And then came the name change. Amenhotep IV became Akhenaten, effective for the Aten. It wasn't just a name. It was a declaration of war. By the 5th year of his reign, Akhenaten had done the unthinkable. He abandoned Thebes, the sacred heart of Ammonia's worship, and ordered the construction of a new capital, a city raised from dust and devotion. He called it Akhenaten, the horizon of the Aten. No sacred ruins, no ancestral ties, just virgin soil and a vision. The site was chosen not for politics or defense, but for its sunrise. Here, the sun would rise between two cliffs, as if the Aten itself endorsed the city's creation. Temples were built with open roofs. No shadow could hide the sun. Unlike traditional sanctuaries, there were no statues of gods. The Aten was not a figure to be carved, only a disk of light, eternal and unreachable. Art changed. Language changed. Even the royal family was depicted in strange, elongated forms, basking under the sun's rays like divine incarnations. The king and his queen, Nefertiti, appeared not as conquerors, but as intermediaries, the only ones who could speak to the Aten. This wasn't just religion, it was revolution. What Akhenaten proposed wasn't just devotion to a new god, it was a rejection of all others. The old pantheon was silenced. The name of Ammonius was erased from monuments, temples defaced, inscriptions chiseled into blankness. Even the word gods, in plural, was banned. This was unprecedented. Never before had Egypt seen such a purge, not just of power, but of memory. In the heart of his sunlit city, Akhenaten promoted a singular truth. There is only the Aten, a god without image, a god who speaks only to the king, a god whose presence is felt, not seen, radiating from the sky with life-giving rays, but never taking form. Religious hymns from the time speak of the Aten as the sole creator, the one who causes a bird to chirp, the fetus to grow, the crops to rise. Every breath, every heartbeat, attributed to its light. But only one man could interpret its will, Akhenaten himself. He wasn't just Pharaoh. He was priest, prophet, and chosen son. His titles became absolute, his family divine. In some depictions, Nefertiti joins him in the shared celestial role, as if the two stood above the world as channels for the sun. This was the core of Atenism, a monotheistic vision centuries before its time. No idols, no temples with dark sanctuaries, only open air, sunlight, and the silence of the erased. To some, it was a revolution of purity. To others, blasphemy. To Egypt, it was a fracture. Akhenaten's vision burned bright, but it could not endure. After 17 years, the pharaoh who challenged the gods vanished from history. No grand burial, no enduring monuments, only fragments scattered in the desert. His city, Akhenaten, was abandoned. Temples fell to ruin. Sand swallowed the streets where the Aten once reigned. And with the fall of the city came the erasure of the man. Successors, beginning with the young Tutankhaten, soon renamed Tutankhamen, reversed Akhenaten's reforms. The temples of Ammonius were rebuilt. His name was scratched out from walls, his statues destroyed. To speak his name was forbidden. To remember him was heresy. The gods returned, and with them the old order. Yet Akhenaten's legacy lingered in whispers, in the symmetry of light, in the idea of one God seen by all, in stories half-remembered of a pharaoh who dared to stand alone beneath the sun. His revolution was buried, but not forgotten. Atenism was not the end of Egyptian religion, but it was a crack in the stone, a glimpse of something to come, something eternal.